Okay, welcome to the second part of the mid-season report, and it's the Western Conference edition. The reason why I did the Western Conference second is because the Eastern Conference is very easy to do, and the Western Conference is going to be a long one. There's a lot of teams we'll talk about. There's also a lot of teams that I'm going to go in depth about. So let's start with the best team in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets. So to record this video, the Denver Nuggets have a record of 33-14, and they have been playing amazing recently, mostly thanks to the play of Nikola Jokic. Could be an exclusive club of winning 3 straight MVPs because of the way he's playing. Also, he has the advanced stats on lock, and if you're an NBA stat head, you're going to look at his number and think he's the best player of all time. Jokic this season is averaging 25.1 points, 11 rebounds, 9.9 assists on 62, 37, 82 splits, and 70% true shooting. Even though these averages are amazing, they still aren't fully justify how good he's playing. Jokic's playmaking ability is just out of this world, and he has an ability to add his teammates into his offense so effortlessly, and it looks so nice and fun to watch. I don't understand how people don't have him as the best playmaker center of all time. Now, his supporting cast is just perfect for this team. Aaron Gordon has revived his career, and his flourish on the Nuggets is a great cutter for Jokic, and has the ability to stretch the floor as well. Michael Porter Jr. I have high hopes for him, and I feel like he could be a good competition to this team, and he could be an amazing scoring option for Jokic. But, and I can also see the defensive upside with him. But the only problem I have with him is that I don't like he gets injured a lot. He is very injury prone, and he was out most of the year. But he has played 32 games so far this year, has been efficient with the shot he's taking, and I have very hopes for him. Now, I know I'm going to agree with this take, but I don't believe in Jamal Murray. I never have. I think he's a good scoring option for this team, and he's a good second option right now, but I think Michael Porter Jr. will take over his role as second option. I feel he's inconsistent, but I can't say anything right now because he's come off an injury from last season, so I'll wait and see if what I thought of him will age well or will age poorly. This Denver Nuggets team is a NBA title contender, and they are very scary in the West, and they can possibly win the NBA championship. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies are the second seed right now, and it makes sense. I feel the NBA is wide open right now, and the Grizzlies are capitalizing on that right now, and I'm glad they are. Their best player, Ja Morant, is having a stellar season. He made a gigantic leap last season, as he wasn't a capable shooter at all, and wasn't able to put up points consistently. But now he can do that well and do it efficiently as well. This season, he's averaging 27.2 points, 5.5 rebounds, 7.9 assists on 46, 31, 74 splits on 55% true shooting. They have a record of 31-16, and it makes sense why. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been playing consistently and is a defensive anchor and helps their defense be competent. They also have good supporting pieces as well. Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, and Steven Adams. Now, Steven Adams I'm a little bit indifferent on, as I feel like they need more of a rim protector to help out Triple J, so he can stretch the floor out more, and Adams is more rebounding center. But besides that, that's all the problems I have with this team. I don't like how cocky they are, but that's a personal issue with me. I don't like that they bring emotion. I don't want to bring emotion to our reviews. I just want straight facts or my opinion, unless it's a rant video. So this Grizzlies team has a chance, and always a contender, have a chance to win the NBA championship. Now, me saying this is such a surprise because I didn't expect this team to be where they are. In the third seed are the Sacramento Kings. The Kings made a surprise trade last season, and they traded for Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis was the number 1 option on the Pacers. He was a great offensive center, but couldn't play that much defense. But he was still an all-star caliber player. And the Kings needed to pick between Fox and Tyrese, as Tyrese had a breakout year while Fox was injured, and both of them played differently, so it was hard for them to play together. So they chose and traded for Domantas Sabonis. They also picked up Kevin Huerter from the Hawks, which is an amazing pick for this team. They also got Malik Monk. And under the coach of Mike Brown, who was assistant to the Warriors last year, he has taken his team to the next level. As a Warriors fan, I knew Mike Brown would be a good coach, but I didn't think this degree, as he in talks for Coach of the Year. Fox is leading this team as well, and has taken this season and last season as well. De'Aaron Fox is averaging 24 points, 4.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists on 50, 33, 78 splits on 59% true shooting. Now, something I didn't like about Fox was that he was not a good 3-point shooter, and in the playoffs that's not going to work. But that's still the case, but he has gotten better. Huerter has propelled their 3-point shooting so far, and now people will see his value on the Hawks. I don't think this team is a contender simply because I don't like that Fox can't shoot consistent threes, but he is clutch this season, which is something he needs. I also like Sabonis on this team, but the lack of defense will be the death of him. I think they need to get a better rim protector that can stretch the floor like Miles Turner. This team is very surprising though, but I am still expecting a drop in the seed, as the Pelicans are missing Zion and Ingram, and the Clippers are starting to come back now. But look out for this team in the future seasons because they already exceeded expectations. Next is the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans are having a terrific season, as they was the number 1 seed out of the West and comfortably as well. But unfortunately, Zion got injured, and they are the 4th seed at the recording this video. He was having a stellar season. Zion was averaging 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4.6 assists on 60% from the field goal and 56% true shooting. Now, CJ was picking up the slack as I underrated CJ McCollum trade. I knew CJ would be good, but I didn't think to this level. He has picked up the slack as Ingram and Zion are out. But healthy, this team is dangerous. Now, the thing I didn't like about this team was the fact that they didn't have that much inside defense or a little bit of perimeter defense. But that didn't matter, as it was still a competent defensive team. Now, I still think they needed to get a stretch rim protecting center to really help Zion flourish in the paint. But besides that, this team is good. They're just dealing with injuries. They're going to drop, and I think Ingram will be coming back soon, but they will still be competent not to that level they were at the beginning of the season. Now it's time for the LA Clippers. The Clippers are just so injury riddled right now, and it's hurting their record right now. At the recording this video, they're currently the 5th seed right now, and I expect them to go up at least a little bit. Kawhi had an unexpected ACL injury 2 seasons ago in the playoffs, and he's starting to pick up and become the Kawhi we all know and love. But one of my favorite players in the league, Paul George, has been picking up the load and doing an exceptional job. Paul George gets injured as well, but he always comes back when he can and picks up where he left off. Not only has he been carrying my fantasy team and Kawhi has been selling it, he has also been carrying the Clippers and it shows. That's really the only thing wrong with this team. It's their 2 best players being injured. I don't like Zubac that much either, as I feel like they need more of a rim protector or a stretch big, but they have a good complementary pieces. They have Reggie Jackson, who's a good starting partner for this team. I'd rather have a playmaker for this team, as Paul has been a playmaker most of his team, but he is a good scoring option. John Wall is unfortunately injured right now, and he is a good playmaking backup point guard. I think this team is too isocentric, and need more playmaking on this team. They have the scoring and defense, they just need more playmaking and stop getting injured to get off this hump or slump they're in right now. Next up is next up is the Dallas Mavericks. This team is so Luka heavy, it should be illegal. This man Luka cannot have one bad game or this team will lose. Their loss of Jalen Brunson hurt this team so much, but I am glad they didn't pay him because that was too much easier with all that money. Luka this season is averaging 33.8 points, 9.1 rebounds, 8.6 assists on 50, 35, 72 splits on 60% true shooting. Here's a situation where his team isn't competent enough around him to allow him to compete for championships. They traded for Christian Wood, but he isn't enough for this team to prosper. The only reason why this team will win so far last year was because they was playing above their level. I don't think they're going to play at that level again. This team needs to trade for someone that would help Luka out. They need more playmakers, as Luka's usage rate is so high and most of the team is centered around him. This team is running a heliocentric offense, as Luka is the primary ball handler, primary scorer, primary playmaker. It's just too much for one person to handle, and he isn't going to win anything with his team with having Luka in his heliocentric offense. Now the Suns are up, and they are 2 years removed from the NBA Finals. They played against the Bucks, and they had a good run going on. They were seen as one of the healthiest teams in the NBA, but ironically, it has been injuries that have been taking them out. Booker was having a great season, but he got injured. It has been for 4 weeks now with no time for the return to record this video. They're working on 25-25, and Chris Paul is becoming older. We can tell by the way he's playing this season. Also, it's just the player we thought he was going to be. Not say he's trash, no, not by any means, but he isn't the first overall pick type player, if that makes sense. He just isn't aggressive for me. He also just doesn't have a mid-range. He tries to shoot them, but he doesn't hit them all the time. He just isn't aggressive, which is something that turns me off about him. This team is really well built, and they have a good bench, good supporting cast. Like, it can work, but they have moments that I don't like about this team. One, they're too cocky. Like last season in Western Conference Final, that was up in the series. They just like the Mavs were a trash team, and they took their foot off the gas pedal and allowed the Mavs to come back and win that series. I think they reevaluate their team and look at it, because I don't think they can go back to where they were 2 years ago. Now it's time for my team, the Golden State Warriors. Now this team keeps switching from the 6th to 10th seed, and it's so annoying. In my rant video I made, I pretty much said everything, but I want to say it and say it in more of a calm manner. The reason why this team is so bad is because of defense, supporting cast, also these young players. We have too many young players on this team for no reason. We need to get rid of them, and we need to surround Curry, Clay, and Draymond with more competent pieces to fit the system with these players that we thought would take a leap, but obviously haven't. People thought the loss of Gary Payton II wouldn't be dramatic, but I was mad at the fact that we lost him because he contributed significantly to this team, and it showed. Our perimeter defense is down, as Clay is the same defender as he once was, and it shows. Also, Jordan Poole. Now, I have been hard on Jordan, but it's because people overrate how good he is. Jordan's a turnover machine, and I hate that because in crucial moments he turns the ball over. He also chucks up shot and is not efficient from the field. But besides that, this team is still going to make the playoffs and make some noise. I believe in Steph Curry. He is playing an exceptional this year before he got injured, and he is slowly coming back to himself. I still believe in this team, but I am critical because there are ways for us to win and be the top of this league, and us losing some of these games that we should win. As a Warrior fan, it angered me. That's why I'm hypocritical of this team. I still believe this team can make some noise in the playoffs. We need to fix a couple things to really elevate this team. I will talk about Curry, but I already talked about Curry enough on this channel. We need to get rid of these young players and put more pieces around Curry, Clay, and Draymond and win the championship. Next up is the Timberwolves. Now, I made a video and I had the Wolves being a top 4 seed because I thought getting Rudy and allow Cat to play power forward will elevate his team, but it hasn't. Cat defense is now showing even more, and he looks confused even playing that power forward position. Unfortunately, he's injured right now, so it's taking his team, but he'll be back soon. But the Gobert experiment just hasn't worked out. They gave the Jazz so much, and it's not going to work in their favor. The Timberwolves have a record of 25-25, and I see them staying in his range as D'Angelo Russell just isn't good anymore, and he doesn't fit his team. Russell is a good defender, no negative a playmaker as well, and that is hindering his team. Russell's supposed to be a scoring guard, but he can barely do that as well. Gobert is so bad offensively that it's not going to work out. If Cat was a competent defender, it would look better than how it looks, but it still be bad. This team needs to get rid of Gobert, obviously, and get a better offensive center, maybe a stretch defender or something. But get rid of Gobert, and Russell's on the thin line as well. I love Anthony Edwards though. He was a bright spot for this team. One of my personal favorites. Now here comes one of the most anticipated teams for me to talk about. For some reason, the Utah Jazz. Now the Jazz have had a breakout star, Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen is averaging 24.8 points, 8.7 rebounds on 54, 43, 87 splits. Now Lauri was on the Cavs last year and it was working for them on the team, but the same reason why I thought they should get rid of him was because of the defense. Lauri just isn't a lead defender, and that's what hindered him from blossoming to a better player. But he has still taken a lead season. But I don't think he'd be a number 1 option on a championship team. He just isn't playing that level. But he is having an all-star season. Is he leading his Jazz team to what I thought would be the last team in the West? But they was the number 1 seed at one point in the season. So if Lauri isn't an all-star this season, I understand seeing his numbers are down. Also, his team has been losing more and more. This team needs to trade Lauri and get him off his team. He would be a great fit on the team in this offense. This Jazz team needs to tank and try to get Victor or a top pick in this draft because they aren't a competent enough team to make a push in the contender area. They aren't going to get that much higher. They're going to stay in a range of 8th through 10th seed, and it makes sense because I just don't think they have enough talent to make a real push. I don't even have hope for this team as they don't have a young talent or a star I can put my eye on. Unless Lauri makes another leap and has an amazing playmaker, defensive leap, or becomes versatile on the offensive end, I don't see him becoming number 1 option on a championship team. Next is the OKC Thunder, who I expect to be this place. This team is actively trying to tank and get the best players and start from scratch. Shai is one of my favorite players. He's averaging 30.8 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists on 51, 36, 90 splits or 62% true shooting. Shai is going to be a superstar on this team once his team get built up. He's a good defender and a versatile scorer. The only thing he needs to work on is his 3-ball, which is hurting his versatility a lot. But besides that, I like this player. This team is actually trying to take their record, and it makes sense. I hope Chet comes back this season and lives up to the hype. Now, the Trailblazers. This team in the Utah Jazz, I predicted their fall off because I knew it wasn't going to sustain. Dame needs to get off this team. You can only be loyal to a certain extent, but this team isn't good enough to compete for a championship. Simons is a great player, but still has the aspect that I hate about CJ and Dame. He's a good scorer next to Dame, but that's all he needs. He needs a second best player to be a elite defender or a good defender, at least a better scorer. Dame needs to get off this team immediately. Now for the biggest disappointment in NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers have had a couple of problems, so I'll just go by one. But first, I have to highlight the play of LeBron James. LeBron James is averaging 29.9 points, 8.5 rebounds, 7 assists on 50, 30, 76 splits. LeBron has taken offensive load and is trying to make this team compete as AD has been out. AD is back now and has played in their last game off the bench, but that's a problem as well. AD is just too injury prone. LeBron is too old and has taken too much offensive load. The offense needs to flow through someone else. Because LeBron plays his hard just to have these teams these games take a toll on his body. He's already 30 years old, has been playing this game for a long time, and needs to rest and take a back seat. So him having to play at a high level, I commend him for being able to and not getting injured. I feel scared for LeBron because the same thing happened to Kobe in 2013. They called a season-ending injury, so that's why I like LeBron playing at such a high level in his latest career. That just speaks to the longevity of LeBron, and that's why he's number 2 on my all-time list. Now, Russell Westbrook needs to get off his team. I understand he's fresh off the bench, that is good and all, but he needs to but he's still hindering his team. One, because of how much money he contributes to the play role, but also, again, his play style just doesn't fit his team. They need to get more complementary pieces around AD and LeBron. Because of both of them healthy, I don't think they're dangerous enough simply because they don't have enough around to help complement them. They need to trade Westbrook and get more floor spaces and get another playmaker that'll be better as well. This team needs to trade Russell Westbrook, and AD needs to stop getting injured. Then we have the two teams out west, the two bottom teams out west, Spurs and the Rockets. Now the Spurs are taking for Victor, but they do have an underrated center in Jakob Poeltl. I would like him on the Warriors or the Lakers. The Rockets have a young team, but all of them are shot creators. I don't know how that's going to fare in the long run with a team full of ISO players and shot creators. I love KPJ. Jalen Green inconsistent, and Jabari Smith needs to prove to me what I was told because he's looking very unpromising right now. Now that's in the Mrs. report. Now this was recorded in the middle of the season, so certain things has happened that have improved some teams. But in this video, I still have the same points that I have on majority of these teams. Some teams made moves, some teams are gonna make moves. So that's just how it is. This is the Mrs. report. This happened in the middle of the season, and let's hope that the next half season is incredible and we have more competitive time in India.